Okay, so now I have this better condition looking model sticker in white, and I also got the two rubber feet made for this bottom housing right here, and I also got all four of the screw covers for the top half of the LCD. And in case you are wondering, I transferred the rubber feet for the bottom shell, the serial number, as well as the four screw covers from this DS to this better looking one. And this is a white DS that is in bad condition. As you can see, it has a yellowed shell, and there is also a crack on the lower left corner of this here. And I bought this Nintendo DS off of eBay, but something else I want to mention while I'm here too, and that is something to do with the firmware. Here I am in PictoChat. When I eject a game card out, I see two yellow screens. However, when I load up my R4 flash cartridge, I can actually use the R button to change the brightness, and it has the same brightness levels as on the DS Lite. So now I am going to go to FlashMe Stealth. This is because I want to keep the health and safety screen, and I want to keep things looking as stock as possible, which includes the health and safety screen. And while the FlashMe installer says DS Lite right there, current firmware and original firmware mention Nintendo DS V4, and this Nintendo DS comes with version 4 firmware. And while there are two yellow screens, this actually does have DS Lite brightness levels controllable with the R4 flash cartridge. So now I might as well flash this DS so I can try to unlock the DS Lite brightness levels off camera. Okay, flashing firmware completed. Now if I turn this DS on again, this DS Fat now has the same exact brightness levels as on the DS Lite. So I was thinking that I might as well transfer the motherboard from this used white DS to this better looking white DS. So I might as well do this off camera now. And before I do it off camera, I just want to show you that when I have FlashMe installed on a V3 firmware DS, I only get on enough brightness, and this applies to versions 1, 2, 3, and 4 firmware versions, only on enough brightness. However, despite this Nintendo DS is actually DS Lite brightness levels, even though, from what I've heard, if this Nintendo DS has version 5 firmware included in the motherboard, you get the same levels as you do on a DS Lite. But in this case, this is actually a V4 firmware motherboard, and it appears to be a late production variant of the motherboard. So anyways, I will transfer this motherboard from this DS to this better looking white one now. Due to the fact that this Nintendo DS consists of the ability to unlock brightness levels after flashing it with FlashMe, you can see that this is an NTR CPU 20 variant motherboard, and this was manufactured in 2005. The original motherboard in this Nintendo DS is an NTR CPU 01 variant, and this also manufactured in 2005, just like this motherboard here, which is NTR CPU 20. This is a later motherboard revision compared to this one. Okay, so I officially have this Nintendo DS Pure White restoration completed, including the DS Lite brightness levels, in which I swapped over the motherboard from an old one to a better one, which this motherboard has DS Lite brightness levels right after I flash it with FlashMe. So, yeah, this Nintendo DS in white now has DS Lite brightness levels, and because of that, this DS looks kind of similar to a DS Lite color-wise. And the DS Lite brightness levels are present on this DS Fat. Again, this Nintendo DS in white is kind of like an older brother to the white DS Lite. So, yeah. The only real thing I need to do is put a Nintendo DS logo on there where it used to be. So, this just about wraps up everything. And if you like this video, why don't you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.